Well, of course, this week is a tragic remembering of the anniversary of the death of 50 people at this site, Summerland, and of course next to the Aquadrome. And still bits are here to be seen. And anyway, the big event on Friday is open to the public to come down to, and we'll have more about that near the time. But with me is John Skinner, a firefighter from the day, 40 years on.
40 years on, yes.
The story, you were on duty, but you just had a baby and all sorts of things.
Yeah, August the 2nd was a memorable day for many people. It started off as quite an exciting day for me. I was a young father. My late wife and I had just had our first child, and on the morning of August the 2nd, I went to the Jane Crookall maternity home to pick the two of them up to bring them home. And then just after 8 o'clock that night, well, a lot of people's lives changed, mine included. My house bell went, and as a retained fireman, I left my new baby and my wife and went to the fire station to be told that there was a fire at Summerland. We'd had many automatic fire alarms, but we'd never had a real fire in Summerland, so we all assumed, until we turned the corner in Peveril Square onto the promenade and just saw the whole of Summerland was ablaze from one end to the other. I was on the turntable ladder. Two appliances from Douglas had already left the station before the one I was on.
I mean, it went so fast, isn't it? And there was actually a bit of a delay between getting the call to you guys in, so there was not much you could do by the time you came here, in the sense of it was out of control, I guess.
No, it's what we would say, it was well alight when we got here, and you just sort of come along the promenade thinking, well, on the particular appliance that I was on, you're just thinking, where will I go, what will I do? And when you get here, you just sort of, brain automatically takes over. Somebody tells you to do something, you just do it.
Was there a lot of panic going on at the time when you arrived?
There was actually, Paul, and that's the one thing that always sort of, whether it haunts me or not, it was the only time in my fire service career where I've actually gone into a building and stopped for the split second and thought, why am I going in here when there are thousands of people running past me screaming and in a state of panic, and you're going into this building that's blazing? It just doesn't seem right, to be honest, but it's your job, and you just put it to one side and you do your job.
I mean, aura glass, I remember using it at school in design technology classes. You lit it and it dripped like rain drops, didn't it? Just very, very hot. Yes. Was that still happening by the time you arrived?
No, but by the time I'd arrived, the whole of that, this face here, the whole of that had burnt away, and it was still burning, but it was the residue that was burning.
So, I mean, I know you haven't talked about this over the years very, very much. Is it still something that really does give you nightmares today?
Yeah, it still comes back. I still think about it, and you know, and obviously it was a memorable day for me, but you know, but it was sort of started off as a happy day for me, ended as a tragic day for a lot of people, and when I got into the council, I thought, well, 40 years. I'd heard a programme on Radio 4, and I heard a lady say that she was sort of felt somewhat upset that nothing formal had done. So I posed a question to the council leader and asked him, after 40 years, did he feel that it was now a fitting time to put a more appropriate memorial to those people who lost their lives that day? And he agreed. And as you know, on Friday, there is a memorial service in the K Memorial Gardens.
Just a bit more about the night itself, because I mean, it's weird. There's actually not a lot of video, filming those days of the event, and it seems to have been sort of whitewashed a bit out of the history of the Isle of Man. But you know, it's by talking to people like you that were there. I mean, were you here for 3 days in total at the time?
Yes, I was here for 3 days. As I said, I was supposed to have started my holidays on the Thursday, and we were here backwards and forwards for 3 days with short breaks. And I eventually got to start my holidays on Monday, but there were still crews here on Monday, still sifting through the damage, looking for pieces that I would suspect, looking for evidence and things like that.
And this bit that still remains, of course, the Aquadrome. You kind of were pumping water, I understand.
Yes. I don't know how I finished up, but I finished up at the deep end of the swimming pool in the Aquadrome. I had 5 featherweight sort of featherweight pumps to look after, which were portable pumps. And every so often during the night somebody would appear to make sure that I was all right and bring me more petrol to put in the featherweight pumps, and by the time daylight come I'd empty the swimming pool with my 5 pumps.
What do you think when you pass this site these days?
Well, I do think about those people who sadly lost their lives, and I know there were families who lost their lives in there, and I just think it was, you know, a tragic day for all, really.
And with this memorial, do you think that would be a sort of the fitting moment where people can have their closure almost now, to have a proper memorial? Because it was a very small plaque before, wasn't it?
It was a small plaque. It was put there after 25 years, and that was what the lady said on the Radio 4 programme, that she wanted some form of closure, and I believe and I hope that with this new memorial that's gone up, that will bring some form of closure to a number of people and their families.
Well, on Friday, obviously, it's a time for people who, you know, can make it here to come along and remember and obviously still grieve, I suppose. And there's going to be less and less of them all the time. But as for this site, what do you think should happen?
I don't know really, Paul, to be honest. I think it's sad that it's gone to this, you know, because I know it sort of upsets a lot of people. But I honestly don't really know what should go here. I know I've heard all the different sort of suggestions, but I don't know.